Welcome, everyone. I'm here today with Sam Delena. How are you, Sam?
I'm really good. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you for setting aside some time to join me. I am really excited to dive into your business journey and talk a little bit around like the work that you're doing, the people that you're helping, and how you've kind of got to this point that you're in your business as well. Because I know just from working with you, there's lots of things going on and lots of exciting things happening as well. So I'd love to dive into that a little bit more. For those that are just coming across you for the first time, who've never heard of you before, can you give us a little insight in terms of just who you are and who you help?
Yeah, beautiful. So, I am a leadership and communication coach. I help the emerging leaders, so those who've been in leadership for 6 to 12 months, particularly quiet, reserved, maybe introverted leaders, to
Mm.
be able to speak clearer. So, bring their communication forward, build that trust, have the impact that they want to have, and really great relationships with their team.
Awesome. So, with the work that you're doing, what kind of led you into the world of communication and helping leaders in that space?
Yeah, it's a well, I say a funny story, unexpected, I suppose. So I've worked in IT for most of my career, which is very black and white, very logical, behind the scenes. And it was when I stepped into my leadership journey, my leadership space, that I realized, okay, maybe that there's a different way to do this leadership thing. I'm seeing everyone being really loud, being
Mm.
up in front of places, talking just with such confidence that I didn't have. And
Mm.
I'm like, is that what I need to do? And so there was a bit of, me finding my feet and learning. And I thought, looking around, I can see this coming up so many times, especially from that technical industry. And so that kind of led me down to this path going, well, you know what? If I can figure out how to do this, which I did through a range of different methods, I want to be able to share this with others. And that's where I kind of landed in this leadership communication space.
Yeah, love that. And from one introvert to another, I can definitely, tell you when you're in those rooms sometimes of other people who are the loudest in the room and kind of dominate those conversations, it can feel, very intimidating if you're really not having to operate in those rooms before and you're just used to doing like your work and your day to day. And I think, for a lot of the people that you work with, when they're given other opportunities to go for leadership opportunities, that could be something that potentially sort of holds them back if they don't know how to communicate for themselves and with others, in that kind of environment. So I love that. I love that you found something that I think is really aligned to your own personal experiences. And having gone through that, you can know exactly how it feels, to help others. And I guess what was that decision like for you when you decided to go, okay, look, I've had this really great career. I've been in IT, and like everything's working really well. Let me just change everything up in my world and let me just start my own business. Like, tell me how that came about and what that decision was like for you.
Well, it wasn't an overnight thing. I'll put that out there.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had been thinking about it for a while, and it's a big move, or it was for me a big move to come from that place of being an employee
Mm.
into into a business owner. Like that's
Yeah,
a big shift, and it's an identity shift, not just
yeah.
a logistical doing the thing shift. So there was a few parts to that journey. There was me kind of doing it alongside my 9 to 5 for a period of
Mhm,
time.
mhm,
And then it got to a point where I'm like, I'm actually not enjoying the 9 to 5, but
mhm,
I'm really enjoying this part over here. This is the time. There's no
mhm.
time like now. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that because you've been thinking about it for a while, but then, to have that kind of intuition and feeling that, now's the right time is awesome because, for some people, they can just put it off for years and years and years and years. And like you said, there is a shift to make. It has to happen at some stage if that's where you want to get to. There's always that little bridge that you've got to cross. And I don't say little to trivialize it because there's a lot that's on that bridge. But tell me a little bit around, like, what were some of those identity shifts that you had to make? What were some of the things that were in front of you at that time where you thought, how do I get to the other side of like being in employment to then running my business full time?
Mm. Well, I guess one of the big parts for me was that I would show up to work. I would have this, bookend the day, and everything
Mm.
in the day, like I had autonomy and control over because being in the position I was in,
Yep.
but it was following the guides that other people had set. So I was
Mm.
working towards their goals, not mine. And
Mm.
I guess towards the end, I was trying to bring in my style and my flavor to it. I'll be honest, I didn't see how I could be the person that I wanted and needed to be in that
Mm.
space.
Mm.
So that was, I guess, the biggest shift for me, realizing that, we change, everyone change, organizations change, individuals change. That wasn't for me anymore. Now, other big shift was understanding that when I am a business owner and when I first jumped and took that jump, I have so much autonomy. I can do whatever I want.
Yes.
So what do I want to do?
So now what?
Now what?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that took a little bit of wrangling at the start. Yeah.
I think that's a really good point because, yeah, it's like you've got these guidelines and this structure and maybe a boss, telling you what to do or directors and all that sort of thing that you're, accountable to. And then you do make that jump on your own. You're like, great, I've got all this freedom. But some days it's like, wouldn't it be nice if I just got told what to do for today? So I knew I was going to hit my
Yeah.
goals. Like, wouldn't that be nice? So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's can definitely feel like very opposing forces and very opposites in a lot of way. So when you think about like how you kind of made that transition, and naturally this is going to be different for everyone because I think one of the questions I get asked all of the time is like, tell me when I can quit my job and start my own business. It's like,
Yeah.
well, it's different for everyone, right? Like I work with people that have been in business for, 10 plus years, and I work with others like yourself who are making that jump. So there's never like an exact time
Mhm.
frame for everyone. What was the time frame for you, and what was like your decision making process around that where you kind of knew in your gut like this is the right thing moving forward?
Mm. Well, look, I'll be honest, there's some logistical things in there.
Mhm.
So obviously I wanted to make sure I had a bit of money put aside, very realistic. I'm not going to just, day one be rolling in money, right?
Yep.
So there was that piece that I did and made sure that I had some there, which I'll be
Mm.
honest, I've not touched.
Mm.
So it's just there though, but and it made
Yeah.
me feel better being there.
Yeah.
So there was that piece. There was also what else did I have to do? There was other logistical parts around I'm starting out basically from scratch and how do I get people to know about me? And this was something and one of the things that led me to here was, I was on LinkedIn, but I wasn't really using it really at all. And so I needed to better understand how do I get people to know that I'm here.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep. And when you thought about doing that, what were some of the roadblocks that were coming up, or maybe some of the opportunities that you saw as well at that time? But I think, I remember our first conversation, it was like, I know I need to do this thing, but I'm just not sure of the how. So what
Yeah.
was coming up for you at that point in time?
Well, funnily, it's all the things that I help clients with now is that, being an introvert, I'm like, I'm supposed to put myself out there and
Mm.
for people to know about me, but it's really, really scary.
Mhm.
And I don't know if I can. So that was a really big part for me. I knew that I had something which was really valuable. I knew I could help people.
Mhm.
It's that bridge between I've got this thing, people have this problem. I know I can help them, but I need to somehow get myself out there. And that
Mhm.
that was something that I kind of sat around for a while. I
Mhm.
probably took a little bit longer than, I could have
Mhm.
doing that,
Mhm.
even posting, just posting text.
Yep.
I'll say the biggest jump for me there was putting a photo of myself in a post,
Yeah.
which sounds odd because my profile photo is there, but putting a photo of myself together in a post was really big for me. That was like a block, and I sat on that for a while.
Yeah. And why do you think what was the reason behind that? Do you know?
Look, I look back and I think part of it is around it feels vulnerable, even though
Mhm.
it's just a photo of me,
Mm.
but it's me putting myself out there to
Mhm.
people and potentially like it's that fear of judgment, that fear of
Yep.
someone's going to look at me and go, oh, well, who are you to be doing this?
Mhm. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up and saying that because I think it's a very common fear that most of us have, when it comes to anything that we're starting new, but particularly in sort of a public arena like social media in general, but particularly LinkedIn, we've got former colleagues that are on there, we've got, other peers that we respect and we look to. And so it can feel like there's this sort of intimidation factor around the platform as well, where it's like, we know that we can use it for business. We know that our people are on there in terms of potential clients, but it's getting over the sort of how do I actually show up and how do I want to show up in a way that feels good for me and doesn't
Mhm.
have to be like pretending to be someone that I'm not as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a big point
Mm,
because I'm sitting there going, I see all these other people on there. Maybe I should do what they're doing, talk like them, do
mm,
that. And we need to start. I say that we need to start somewhere. It's very hard starting from a blank page,
yeah.
like starting with a framework, a script, like that's amazingly helpful. But then it's working out how do I make this sound like me?
Yeah. And I think particularly in the world that we're in now with AI and you're in that world of communication, it would come up a lot for you, with your clients as well, is that we don't want to all sound like robots. And if we do, then we lose that kind of like, essence and authenticity that we carry just naturally from the work that we do and the experiences that we have. So I love that. And I think, for you in particular, when you're kind of thinking about making that jump. And I know when we first chatted, like that was a big part of it was like, how am I going to show up on LinkedIn in a way that actually feels good for me and is going to be effective as well? Because there's two parts of it. You can show up and you can be visible, but
Mm.
there's no point if the right kind of clients aren't going to see it and you're not going to have a business from it. So tell me a little bit around like, obviously we've worked together and there's some things that you've learned along the way. Were there kind of two or three like key trainings or strategies that you've picked up that have really helped you to get to the other side of that and look at,
Mhm.
where you are now?
Yeah, so 2 things come to mind. The first thing is DMs, so
Mhm,
messaging. So
mhm,
actually having like a message, direct message with another person.
mhm.
Another one of those things that's very scary for me. Like I got past the posting, that was kind of just putting it out there, and I'm like, it's out there. But
Yeah.
then sending a direct message, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm actually talking to someone.
Mm,
So having those, as I was just saying, starting with a blank page is really hard. So
mm,
having those message scripts was really, really helpful for me.
yeah,
And then I, got them in my style over time. The second part is around the sales thinking, particularly, and the big lesson for me particularly was that just because someone hasn't responded doesn't mean that their answer is a no. It's not a no. And
yeah.
and that follow up, that was something really that I took away from that, just to check
Mhm.
in, just follow up, they haven't said no, so we're still in conversation.
Yep, awesome. And so from having those private conversations as well, and then mixed in with the posts and finding your style and your voice in doing that, and then having sort of the sales psychology around like how do we, take these people from just a connection on LinkedIn to then becoming a client, but doing it in a way that doesn't feel, forced and weird and icky like so many people do on LinkedIn. How much of an impact did that have in your business? And tell me a little bit around what you started to see happening when you started applying those things.
So I found that connecting with people and asking them questions and then offering them something, they said yes. If I hadn't have asked the question, we wouldn't have started that conversation. So and that's how some of my most recent clients I've gotten through that.
Mm,
Just saying to them, hey, I saw you, liked my post, I'd love to hear what it was that it kind of resonated with you, starts a conversation, go, oh, you're
yep.
experiencing this challenge. Maybe I can offer something, send them something, a lead magnet, and then it sparks into more. So like that was really key. That
Mm,
actually got me clients.
yep. Yep. Amazing. So tell me a little bit more about that. Like that's huge, going from like not knowing how to shop to then getting clients. So along the way, was it just that streamlined, or did you have like a few little stumbling hurdles and things you had to work through?
Yes, stumbling hurdles, stumbling hurdles.
I bring it up because we all hear the stories of like, the overnight success of like
Yeah.
Instagram selling for billions of dollars and then everyone goes into entrepreneurship thinking like every day is going to be like unicorns and rainbows.
Yeah.
But tell me a little bit around like because you have done the work and you have got the results. So that's awesome. But tell me the real, like what happened along the way? Where did we have our doubts? Where did we feel like we were really motivated? Like what was that journey like for you as you were kind of applying those strategies?
So look, in the DMs, like there's a lot of people that just don't reply, which is
Hmm.
totally their choice. There was a few people that even though I felt I was having a really honest, chat, said, oh, you're trying to push something on me. And, that helped me because it helped me with my languaging
Yep.
in those messages.
Yep.
But, it's not nice to get that sort of message back, and that's not my intention, that's not what I'm
Mm.
trying to do. A big a big part around, we talk about these hurdles is so I started with some webinars, so
Mhm.
running, free webinars for people, and people would say, "Yes, I wanna come, register, sign up." And
Mhm.
then the webinar happened, like, it come to the time,
Yep.
and no one showed up,
Mm.
like, no one on one of my webinars, 0,
Yep.
and, that doesn't feel great. I still did it because I'm like, "I'm here now, may as well
Mhm.
do it." So I did it, and, and then I follow up with people after, which is part of, what we learn, and everyone's got really legitimate reasons, "Oh, got stuck at work, my boss had me do this, had to pick up the kids," whatever it is. Like,
Mm.
it's not that they just decided, "No, I don't see this as value anymore and not gonna show up."
Mhm.
So, we're all still human, and, some of those after messages had it sparked into some, other conversations, and one of them ended up being a client in the end. So, yeah, I think they're hurdles, and they're not always days that feel great, but, I always take there's something here for me,
Yep.
something to take away.
Yep. Yep. I love that. I think because, many people at that point would go, "Well, I'm just gonna give up. Like, business is just not for me," right? And that's not the case at all, For you, like you said, there's lots of different reasons, there's plenty of different things, and I think it's really human and natural for us to go, "Oh, it's me. It's I'm not delivering enough value, or I'm not, doing this right thing." And it's actually got nothing to do with us a lot of the time. So I just wanted to bring that up because you are someone that I know, very well, Sam, that is like perseveres through things, even on the bad days. And you get the result because of that, because you don't give up and because we think, okay, it's not about like it doesn't work. It's about like how does it work and like finding the way through and finding the pathway that works for you. And I think you've done a really, really great job of that. So tell me a little bit around like the clients you're working with now and I guess where you started with us on that journey and how does it compare to like amount of clients you're working with now? What does your LinkedIn look like, before and after in terms of just like, yeah, just some of the things that, you've seen the impact of in your business.
Yeah, yeah. So when we started, I'm pretty sure I had 0 clients when when I first started.
I
Yeah,
remember.
pretty sure it was 0.
Yeah.
So, I was starting nice and at ground level.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say kind of almost not almost, like all of my clients have come from
Mm.
LinkedIn and those conversations. And, you mentioned my profile is
Mhm.
completely different. And it's had a few iterations,
Yep.
but I would say getting really clear on the not just about, hey, this is the thing that I do. How awesome is this? It's like, how is this actually solving a problem
Mm.
and like a real problem that exists for
Mhm.
people? And that, yeah, that took a few iterations, but it's in a really, really clear place now.
Yep.
And there was also like with the webinars that I run, how to promote those, how to share those
Mm.
was also something that I took on. So my banner changes depending what I'm doing every few weeks.
Yep. Awesome. And I know just before we started this conversation, you let me know you just got off your LinkedIn Live that you do now as
Yeah.
well. So tell me about that because that's pretty huge going from like not wanting to even post a photo to now
Yeah.
doing some LinkedIn Lives.
I know.
So what a journey. Talk me
Yeah.
through that and like I guess kind of the progress that you've made and naturally, we've got a new profile and new content in terms of LinkedIn Lives and other things and masterclasses that you've been doing. Tell me a little bit around, like, how that's increased your network and sort of the, I guess, kind of feedback you're getting from your market since
Mhm.
you've made those
Mhm.
changes, and then also, like, the clients that you're working with now, like, who are they? What do they look like? And
Ah, yes, yes. I guess when I look back, it is a big shift. The path for me was that my message is around communication,
mm,
and it wouldn't be right for me just to do that over text, right? Because a lot of what I work with clients is like communication as in speaking. The first few lives, they were a bit a bit clunky,
yeah,
but you know what? They're there. etched in history. They'll
Mhm,
but it's good to see progress because,
mhm,
each time I do one, I go back and watch it and I say,
mhm,
okay, what have I done well? What can I improve on for next time? Like that's a really big part for me. I get so many, I know that my messaging is getting clearer because I get messages from people now saying, oh my gosh, it's like you're in my head. Like this is
mhm,
exactly how I feel right now. I worked with so the clients that I work with at the moment, I guess the theme for them is they're actually senior leaders as much as I market to emerging leaders. These are senior leaders. They are trying to work out how they can actually say what they mean
mhm, mhm,
and how they can get their voice across. So I guess these are people that have been in their roles for a while, right? They're very
mm,
intelligent. They know what they're doing, but something there is missing that they either don't feel like they're able to communicate the way they want to, or they're doing these things on autopilot that they're
mm,
not aware of. And
yep,
that's a part of what I work with my most recent clients on. I'm like, did you notice that you do this? Oh, I
mm,
had no idea. That in itself, that was like, I think maybe our first session, and that that was huge. That shifted for her then what she did after that. So, it's new leaders, it's senior leaders. I would say there seems to be most of my clients are female, which I suppose says something about, I guess we make it mean what we want, but I say it must say something about that leadership space. There still needs to be an understanding that not every leader is big, loud, confident,
mm,
typical masculine
yeah,
traits.
yep,
And it's how can we bring those women into that place where they don't have to copy that. They
mhm,
shouldn't have to copy that. They shouldn't have to
yeah,
speak like that to have the impact. They can bring their way into it
mm,
and speak in a way that is not exhausting because it can be really exhausting to put on that persona.
yeah.
So that I guess is really the clients I'm working with at the moment are in
Mm.
that.
Yep. Yep, fantastic. And so in terms of like the work that you're doing, I know you're working with them in different ways. You do one-on-ones, then you also do like some group training workshops with organizations as well. One thing I think has really been cool about the work that you do, Sam, is you've had, once you've landed clients, there's been repeat business from that as well.
Mm,
So it's not just been like one and done, it's like you kind of can build that snowball. And I know you're already pre-booking people for the new year, which is awesome, right? Because I think that's what we want to get to, right? You build up so much demand on LinkedIn in that it's like literally if there's just one of you in the business, then it's like, okay, well, this is when I can fit you in. And you start creating a wait list. And then,
yeah,
secretly, I've got a few things up my sleeve for you next, Sam, as we're working together on where we're going next in terms of the business. But I think to go from, like 0 clients to then, being booked out and then being able to like actually do the work that you love with these senior leaders that is really lighting you up is just awesome. I'm super proud of you. It's really cool to
yeah.
see.
Well, thank you, Amy. Thank you.
Yeah.
And can I just say, like the in terms of like my LinkedIn profile shifting, that I think I started with maybe 200 connections
Yeah.
or something like that, under 300. So I'm at 1100 now. And so in that period of time, like my reach, in getting in front of people and saying, this is who I am, is just massive difference.
Yeah. And I think that's a real testament to going how, it's not about having 100,000 followers on LinkedIn anymore to get visible and get clients. Like you've done that with a network size, from scratch essentially and really building that up. And I think that's amazing, to have your voice out there and be able to like have that visibility for your right people
Mm,
and being able to attract those clients is just awesome. So really, really well done.
thank you.
Fantastic. And so if you were thinking about like, I know we've worked on LinkedIn and your business and you've been a part of our tribe and still are a part of our amazing tribe. If there's someone that's listening to this and maybe they're sort of in that position where they feel like they're at the very start of their journey, maybe they haven't yet worked with clients, there tends to feel like this chicken and the egg scenario that can happen where it's like, I'll invest in my business, but when I've got clients. But
Mm,
sometimes it's like, if you reverse that, it's like, well, if you don't invest in your business first, then how are you going to get those clients? And it's almost like wanting to step into the gym when you've already got a six pack. It just doesn't
Mhm.
work like that. So
Yeah.
I know you were in a similar position, so that's why I bring it up. Like, if there's other people that are kind of feeling that, where they're wondering about, like, you know, do I invest first and then, get the business support happening before I've really got evidence of revenue coming into the business? I guess, what was your thought process like with that, and why did you decide to join us even when that was your case and that was the environment? And what would be your advice to others maybe in that similar situation?
Yeah, I think it is a chicken and an egg scenario. I figured that I would be able to figure it out eventually on my own,
Yep.
but the key word being eventually,
Mm,
right? So I'm like, wouldn't it make more sense to actually do it, have someone supporting me who's done it and knows what to do, and then I don't need to do all this trial and error for
mm,
whoever knows how long. That was my thinking around it. Yes, I remember our phone call. I was actually I took it in the car, sitting in the car park,
yep.
talking about it. And when I said, "Yep, I'm going to do it," and I'm sitting there going, "Oh my god, it's real now."
Yeah.
Right? And it's but that's part of it too. It's now knowing that I had support. I
Mm,
wasn't just doing it on my own. I don't think if I had tried to start off like that on my own, I don't think I would have stuck with it.
yeah, wow. That's really cool, and I think it's that feeling, because I remember same way back when I first left my corporate job years ago to start my business. I did it the same way. I kind of dived in with both feet and invested a bunch of my savings to get the business up and running, first with no evidence that was gonna work, no guarantees, no nothing. So, I think, like you said, you can definitely there's no right path. It's just sort of figuring out the right path for you, and it sounds like you made a really good decision, Sam.
Yes.
You're
Yep.
doing that. No regrets, you can say it.
But
Yeah, yeah, perfect, and honestly, I feel like we're just getting started. Like, it's just
yeah.
so cool to see you progress, and, like, we're just off and racing, which is awesome. And, you've got the experience of working with us and being a part of our tribe, and the other people that are a part of our tribe as well. What do you find is, like, the thing that really helps you, or the thing that kinda stands out to our community versus maybe other, business programs and things you've been a part of before?
There's two things that come to mind. The first one is the fact that everyone's willing to give you support and give you feedback and post something into the group, and I'll get all sorts of different members and yourself and Susan giving me support there,
Mm,
and that's really something special. The other part is that it's the discussions are so the word diverse, varied. I learned so much from hearing what other people are doing and going through. Like even our call this morning, that
mm,
all different members sharing different where they are at the moment. And I got something from every single one of them.
mm,
And I think and everyone's so able, and this is a testament to the space that you've created, Amy, to
mm,
be able to just share openly, like, this is the challenge I've got at the moment. This is what I'm
mm.
struggling with. And it's like we all just jump in and support.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's awesome. I think we only let the good ones in, Sam, so you're one of the good ones.
Trick. That's the trick.
But no, that's really cool, and I think if you think about where your business is at now, and if we look at, the next 12 months together, like, I've got obviously some plans in mind of all the things that are gonna happen in the business for you as you start to grow, but what are you most excited about when it comes to the business, like, at the moment, and also where you wanna take it, like, over the next 12 months and beyond?
So my plan for the next 12 months is to really, really focus in on workshops and speaking. I think
Mm,
that's it definitely resonates with my message. It's a way that I can share this with more people. And it's something that, you know, believe it or not, I actually really enjoy. I need some hours afterwards to to kind of recharge. That's the
yes.
introvert.
Yep.
But in the moment, I do really enjoy it. So that's my plan. And I think if that's what my focus is going to be on, and
Mm.
that way I can kind of get that out to more people quicker.
Yeah, love that. And as a fellow introvert, I absolutely know when I go to, like, networking events or big conferences with people, which is very rare these days, but I'll definitely take a day out afterwards to recoup and recover.
Yeah.
So I get that. And what would you say to the old Sam who was right at the start of the journey going, should I start my business? Like, should I not? What's this going to look like? What advice would you give knowing what you know now?
I would say that there's more people rooting for you than you realize. Back then, there's that fear of, oh, what's everyone going to think? what happens if it doesn't work out? Like, you know what? Pretty much every single person really wants me to do well.
Yep.
So, use that. You use their support, use their belief and go, everyone wants it to work out. So they're there for you.
Yep. Love that. I think, yeah, it's definitely we can go to the negatives really easily in our head and think, "Oh, what's gonna happen?" But knowing that, yeah, you've got plenty of people out there that do wanna see you win, you can get that support and you can just make it work, and you can make it work a lot quicker than what you thought you
Yes.
could do it in the first place, which is
Yes.
even better. Not having to have all your ducks in a row, just get it done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Sam. I really appreciate you jumping on and like sharing a little bit more about your story and the work that you're doing. So, if there is a mid to senior level leader who is listening to this and is probably thinking, I'm not the loudest person in the room and I don't ever want to be that person, but I need to work out my own communication style for me, where can they go to find you?
Beautiful. So LinkedIn, obviously.
Total trick question
I'm
for
there.
everyone.
I'm there. Also, my website is momentummakers.com.au.
Love
It's
that.
also where you can find me there.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, go and connect with Sam on LinkedIn, see all the things she's doing, all the lives, all the different things that are happening, which is working and getting you some clients. And make sure if you do want to work with her, reach out quick because she books up pretty quick as well.
Absolutely.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Sam. Appreciate it.